Hi there, it's Ken again from Ken's Christmas Village, and what I'm doing today is trying to fit sockets to my German market stores that were some of the early ones that Lemax provided and sold. And if you bought the very early ones, they came with these very annoying battery compartments on the back. If you were luckier and bought some of the later ones, you will find that you bought ones that had the battery and a socket so you could wind them up to the mains. But if, like me, as soon as they brought these out, you wanted to buy them, you will be stuck with these battery versions, which are very annoying because you have to keep picking them up, turning them on, turning them off whenever you want to. So I'm going to show you a very easy way to convert these to operate off a Lemax adapter. There's a couple of things you're going to need. And the most important thing to start with is some of these little sockets. You can buy these on Amazon. They are called 2.1mm DC sockets. And this particular version is very interesting. You will see that there are two types. One that has the pinhole smack in the center, and these ones, which as you see, has got the hole for the plug to go into slightly off center. These are the ones that you want to get. And I'll tell you why, because the Lemax adapters fit much easier into these than the other ones that you can buy. These are slightly longer, but I'll tell you how we overcome that later on so that we can fit them back into these the villages. Now, what you then need to do is take off the plastic disc. I've kind of half done this one for you, the plastic disc. And with a pair of long nose pliers, very carefully, you'll see that there's a couple of holes here, and if you kind of grab through these holes, you'll find you can prise this out. If you use a very, very tiny screwdriver to lever in around the edge, or even score around with the knife, you'll find it just pings out quite easily. Once you've got this out, you will then see that you've got a little circuit board on the back and some wires here. What you then need to do is just, again, with these or some little cutters, take this circuit board off, and you will see there's some little bits of plastic underneath that it sits on. Just snip those off so you've got a nice circular gap like this one here that I prepared earlier, so that we can then fit our sockets. These wires pull off very easily, or you can unsolder them, but if you pull them off, you can then strip back the wire very, very simply for when you want to wire up later on. Now, once we've got that circuit board off, and there's some little sort of carrier bits of plastic under there you can see. You don't need those, so snip those on with a little pair of snippers, scissors, or a knife, a little Stanley knife, so you've got a nice big opening in the center. Okay, what you then do is use this socket and wire to this socket. Now, a little tip here. What I found that this socket, when it goes back in here, is just a little bit too long to sit right back in. So when you buy these sockets, they come with these little nuts. Now the nut is used to retain this through whatever you push it through. Now what I did was I took one of these nuts and screwed it on here first. So I screwed this all the way on. Get there all the way, you little devil. And what you can see now is that is now acting as a spacer. So when this goes back through this little disc, it will just hold it out. When you put this disc back into the carrier, I can't remember whether I've already said that, when you've got this stripped out, put the plastic disc back in and super glue it in place. Let that go hard and so that it's stuck firm, because you're then going to drill through this. And what you need to do is drill through it with an 11mm bit. That 11 mils is the width of diameter of that little jack socket. So if you put an 11mm hole, you will find that this slots straight back through. Get it as central as you can in this, so that your socket sits nice and central in this carrier once you've got it off. Now, once you've got your hole in place, then put your socket through here. Remember to use the spacer first, and then it's secured, you'll see there, by another nut inside. So I've got my spacer on the outside, another nut on the inside as well to hold it in place. Then you resolder your wires these wires here that you've taken off of this one, you'll see there's a green and a black. Now on these little sockets, there are 3 prongs. That large one there, I use my screwdriver to point to it. That large one there is the live circuit, and then alongside it there is the neutral. There's one in here, it's kind of in the center, which you don't want. You don't use that one. You use the big one on the outside, and you attach your green wire to that, and your black wire goes to that one over there. So green wire there, black wire there. Get them both in place. Once you've got those in place, you can then refit this, which will then have wires coming off it. You can then refit that. If I'd use this one to show you, you could then refit that back in place. Now, because you pinged it off in the first place, when you put it back in, super glue it back in so that it stays in place. What you will then have is a market stall that looks like this with a socket on the back. And if you're lucky, when you plug this into here, it lights. So I now have my lovely cocoa stool connected to the mains, so I can wire it up with everything else just by using a Lemax adapter. No switching, because the switch comes out when you strip that little circuit board out from inside. It comes out. This didn't take me long at all, probably about 10-15 minutes. Once you've got all your bits in place, make sure you've got a soldering iron with a very fine tip, because you will need that to solder the wires back on. Make sure you've got some little pointy pliers like this to prise things out with. Make sure you've ordered your sockets from Amazon so you can fit them back in. Your soldering iron, a little bit of solder, Bob's your uncle, and you end up with a lovely village stall that lights up just like you want it to. Okay, any problems? If you have a go at this and you have any problems, just send me a message and I'll help you. But it's very simple. Remember, green wire goes to the live socket, black to the neutral, and 2.1mm sockets from DC sockets from Amazon, and you want an 11mm bit to drill the hole. Anyway, now all my market stalls will light up when everything else lights up, and I don't have to bother picking them up, switching them on, turning them off, which is lovely. Happy days. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you find it useful. As I said, any questions, just drop me a message and I'll be happy to respond. Otherwise, enjoy your run up to Christmas. I'm still got some videos to do on my backdrop that I'm creating, so that will come up sooner. Anyway, happy villaging and speak to you all again soon. And take care. Bye for now.